I'll call it old resource material, right? Tons of like old books and stuff that I've had. Anyway, the first ones I can remember going to the library and checking out those old tiny little World Series register books.
Yeah,
Oh, that was good
remember
stuff.
those.
But yeah, we'll see if
Love the
somebody
library.
wants to listen to us. I just threw a picture up here. I got Willie
All right,
Wells hanging
let's
around.
do it. I'm gonna run down and grab some more water, but you want to go ahead
Do
and
it.
go live,
I'll
and
keep.
I'll mute.
We're just waiting for some folks to come in. I'm going to heat up some coffee and see what happens.
All right. So is this live? Are we live yet?
We are.
Oh, hi everybody. Didn't know we were live. How y'all doing?
We're live. Yeah, I was just sitting around cranking out today some players and started adding some more pictures yesterday and figure out how to get
Great.
these. I'm going to start building some of the all-time great regular major league players.
Oh, that's gonna be fun. So
And then
is,
what I'm
is
going to do
is
with
your
it is be able to then test, the way I want to do it is test. I can start looking at how this Negro League file kind of compares up to some of those greats and kind of gauge everything and go from there. So
all
that's my
right?
plan here today as I have some free time to. Oh, we've got one viewer. Somebody's here.
We do. Texigander. That's how you
Nice,
pronounce it. All
Texagrander.
right, I'll be
Hey,
right back. I'm just gonna
Curtis is
grab
here.
some water,
Beatles will be
and I'll be
right
back,
back
man.
with us.
Yep. I'll go ahead and mute
We'll
my
we'll
mic in
kick
case
it
my
around for him here,
because
and
my cats might come and say hi or something. I don't know.
oh
So
yeah,
be right back.
just gonna pull up. I was sharing with Beatles some of the progress on the Negro League file I'm working on. Um, take a peek at it. I've got a second team going now. I've got one team, just some placeholder teams. One called Team One here, where I've started filling out some of the better known players, and I've added some, get some pitchers in there with Bullet Rogan and Jose Mendez, Joe Williams, Rube Foster, that good stuff. Forever Remain 90 is here. Hello, hello. Beatles. He's going downstairs to get the drinkers, and he'll probably come back. He'll be here shortly, I think. We're just going to kill some time, talk some baseball, see what's going on. I did get my Baseball for Windows disc yesterday and loaded it and loaded the Negro League teams with it. So I may pull that up and show that off. And Beatles can kind of walk me through navigating the menu on that. I got it just to have um, try out Baseball for Windows again. I used to own it many years ago when it first came out. I don't know whatever happened to the original CD I had, but now I've got it again. And then I thought, hey, let me get their Negro League file, see what I can use it for reference. Take a look at some of the ratings they've got for these players. I did notice on a quick chance though that they do have it by teams. So some of the well-known teams, which is interesting, and some really bizarre one-loss records. Like somebody's got like a 90+% winning percentage. So it's kind of interesting. They may have used those as just kind of teams to put the greats on. So um, maybe Beatles will be kind enough to walk me through that menu. I haven't messed with Baseball for Windows in years. So that ought to be fun. Look at that. Um, Again, I've just been creating some player packs as I go on these. Team two, I'm starting team two here. I just added a couple players. Bingo DeMoss and George Tank Carr here. And starting to get their fielding information done and everything and photos for them. So yeah, I think in a couple days, by mid-week, I think I'm going to have enough rosters for two teams to be able to start playing some games against each other and kind of play testing it that way. Then I'm going to create some all-time greats with the same philosophy of the greatest 3 years and all that good stuff. Maybe build a couple rosters with those so then I can play test them amongst each other, kind of see how it balances out and how I've got and how these ML major league equivalencies are working out with some of the formulas I'm using. So it should be some fun stuff this week. See what else we got. So we got Curtis and Forever Remain 90. See what else I can. show off. Yeah, that's about as exciting it gets on a Sunday. Nice thing is I've got some free time today to crank some of these players out. I'm working on Judd Wilson now. He's not quite ready. I've got still got his fielding data to do, but he was a very good batter. Let me just say that. And then I'll have to dig up my bio info because, as I mentioned before, I'm using the bio tab itself really just shows where they came from and what park and what year they're assigned to.
Just
But I'm
just
putting
say not
bio in the
back, but
notes.
listening.
Oh, he's back. And
Just put listening.
and I was just showing Beatles kind of talking through here. You can see I've got all the notes line filled out for this
Wow.
team,
Wow.
and I've added some pitchers. We didn't really have many. We only had some folks that played part time, like Martin Dihigo and some of these. But now we've got some full time pitching folks with these four.
It's awesome. Know all those guys too. Wow.
And then I've started a second team that I'll start filling in. I'm hoping hopefully midweek I'll have enough I can start play testing in that. So team two, I've just got two
Nice.
batters going. I've got Bingo DeMoss and George Carr and Judd Wilson that I've got data over here that I'm working on. But you know what I thought I could do is pull up my brand new baseball for Windows I got and take a peek at the Negro League teams that I bought for that, right? And you
Oh,
can
neat.
maybe
Yeah.
help me learn how to navigate so that we can go like look at the rosters and look at those players.
Sure.
So let's take a look at that.
It'll be fun. Yeah. And I'm hoping by now you've sent me an email since you've delivered. You've gotten baseball for Windows, so we can coordinate stuff and things. You know what I mean?
Oh, I
You have
yeah,
forgotten
coordination.
Grasshopper.
Here,
Grasshopper. Have you
here it is.
forgotten?
I'm firing the game up right here.
There
Okay,
it is. All right.
hold on. We got multiple screens here. Let's get it over to this screen. What screen does it want to be on? There we go. There we go. Now we're centered. What in the world do I do, Beatles?
Do you want to start a game or do you just want to look at rosters?
Well, I want to look at rosters. So which
Okay,
of
so
these?
close out of okay, so close out of this. You don't want this. You want to go to
Okay,
advanced draft.
okay.
Gander says Tiger Stadium fell in love with baseball there.
Me too.
So do you see it? Do you see advanced draft on your? Yeah, I see it. Actually, I see it on your desktop. But
Okay, advanced draft right here.
um, yep, advanced draft. Yep, advanced draft is really a powerful sort of program.
So I'm going to
Okay, so
load a
then just
disk.
go. Yep, select load data disk.
Okay.
Okay, and then is that? I guess that's it.
Yeah.
Then double click. You see that
Yep.
blue sort of thing? Double click on that.
Look at this team. Look at this 109-3 record for the 1910 Chicago team.
Oh, and then just double click any one of those, and you'll see the rosters for the team.
Well, let's do it. Let's take a look at that early Chicago team. Oh, great. We've got Newt Allen.
Then if you double click any of the players, there's two ways you can do it. So for the
Okay.
cards and dice guys, if you right click on the player, you can view his card. But if you just double click it, you'll see all his stats and everything as they appear in the game,
Oh,
like the
nice.
digital game.
So here's Pop Lloyd.
There
Nice.
you go.
So
And then
okay.
I was going to say, then also you can edit players in this thing and everything. So you can create edit players whatever you want in baseball for Windows as well.
That's great. Now I have no idea what some of these letter ratings are, but under shortstop being a 10, am I assuming that that's the high? It's a 1 to 10 on these
Yeah, higher
fieldings.
numbers are better. Higher numbers are better. Um,
And
so now the thing is that PDF that I sent to you yesterday, to get it, you kind of have to work between two. But I think there's a help file,
okay,
very robust file, on Baseball for Windows. Explain more of those ratings. And I wish we had Ken Castro in here because he could run us through APA ratings really quickly. He's like APA king. Wayne says
nice.
I'm really low. I'm trying to figure out the full mic thing here. I don't know what the deal is. I've got to get another pair of
You sounded
headphones.
good to me.
All right. Well, I think maybe because we're on Discord. I'm not sure.
No, you're coming
Um,
through really good.
nice. But yeah, my understanding of these ratings is sort of higher the better. Let me see if I can find something um, while we're talking here that maybe we can look through those because I go by stats because it also is very stats driven. So I'll look at a player's stats and kind of go from there.
Yeah. And I'm
Yeah.
thinking down below here, this is the entire file then, right? All players on this file.
Absolutely. So if you want to, you could release all the players from these teams and create a draft league.
Nice. Well, here,
Anybody you double click on, you're going to see their card. And if you right click, you can do view player,
okay,
and that's when you see the cards and dice. And if you played Action PC, or if you yeah, duh, what are we always talking about? Right. If you've played Apple Cards and Dice, you will see their card for the master version of the game. It's
great.
really cool, and you can bring up a whole bunch of those, or whatever you want. So I don't know how helpful they may help with ratings, but I'm looking here to see what I can find for you. Ratings and baseball for window. All right. Let me see if there's because believe it or not, this has a thriving community. It's actually surprising considering that Appa isn't telling
Yeah.
people, hey, the game's still available.
Well, MV's here. Hello, MV.
I know, I see that. Hey, mate,
Yeah,
this
it's
is gonna
pretty
take me a
cool.
minute.
Well, now you've already helped me because now I can nose around in here because I'm looking at the 1910 Rube Foster, right, and taking a look at some of the data that they're using um, on that. Yeah, I'm just doing it. It's interesting. It'll be interesting for me to kind of compare once and I've got some of these players built already to see what they look like in this game. And
Okay.
it's nice to be able to scroll all the way through here. Like here's Josh Gibson, 31. Let's pick up this one right here in 35. I mean, I'm assuming this is a defense, so I'm saying he's a catcher plus, meaning he catches and probably plays more than one position, right? Yeah, yeah. You got him at first, third. Very interesting.
Yeah, and I think there's boy the thing I'm running into is so much. I should tell people that this newest version of 5.75 will even run on an old XP system. It won't run on anything earlier than XP Service Pack 3. This is 5.75 that you guys are looking at on the screen. And if you want the older versions, you got to kind of just look around, as I can say, sort of thing. I'm trying to find some things about ratings because the thing about APA um, is that they, unlike Strat, um, they didn't trademark their or you're right protect their so that their ratings. So that's why you see a lot of APA clones like National Pastime 3 and
Yeah.
National Pastime. Those are APA clones, all of those.
Well, it's interesting here. So, like the arm rating, it's all 20s and 30s. So, to me, like, why not use a 1 to 10 scale? What does this have to do with anything? So,
I don't know except well I have a theory about that. Major League Baseball uses a 20 to 80 rating scale, and I'm wondering if they're using that.
God,
Which
somebody
I,
would
I
have to
don't
be better.
understand it. I
Yeah.
never knew about that 20 to 80 scale until I got into out of the park baseball, and that's what they use in baseball. And I'd read about it for a while, sometime, but I forget what it's all about. When I set up a league, I do 1 to 100 in out of the park baseball because I like those. I'm trying to find here is about and I this is what I really wish Ken Castro was in here. Oh, come on,
It's
Ken,
cool.
because
Well, I
he
just
would
feel I
make
just
make
feel good now that now I know how to pull up advanced draft, and now I know how I load the file. I can go navigate. I can look at a team. Here's
you
Birmingham
can write
48. Or down
right and
below, I can see everybody in the whole league and see
also
all the
bring
iterations.
up a player, and I think if you right click on him, you should be able to edit the player.
Okay, let's
I think you can. I think that's an advanced draft. You can do it. So if you just right click on one, is there an edit?
no.
Okay. Let me bring up my copy at the same
Okay.
time because nobody will see it anyhow. guide you
Yeah.
through it.
I'm just looking at Cool Papa Bell here, but no, this is nice because it lets me look at because what's interesting here is they've had to. I can see they're using the actual known stats for that year, right?
Yes,
But to get the
yes,
game to play right, some of those didn't have all of the baseball on balls or strikeouts or some of the key stuff. So they're gonna
yeah,
have to. You're gonna have to make an educated guess based on
exactly.
league averages and then look at what a player like the percentage of strikeouts they had in the years that you do have data for and apply it to those. That's what I'm doing anyway. So
Mhm.
it fascinates me, and it's kind of a reverse engineering way to go over and kind of see how they fill that in and see what I'm doing and just kind of see, if I'm way off or they're way off, and you know what I mean.
Right,
Fun
right.
stuff.
Absolutely. It's just gonna take me a minute if you wanna your channel, chat up everyone,
You
as
betcha.
it were.
So yeah, so
And I'm
what I'm
gonna look around for the edit player
look
window.
around and tell me how to get in there and edit players, and we'll do it.
Oh yeah.
So
And
let's
I
see
think
it.
that's the part you're like, ooh, edit
Oh,
players.
yes,
Yeah,
yes, yes,
all
yes.
about that.
Edit
We
Scout
definitely
window.
can
So
do that.
I've loaded it. I got my data disk I like here. I also ended up with,
Oh, found it. Already
oh,
found it. How about that?
I ended up with 86, 2004, and 2015. Those are the ones that came with my file. And then I purchased this, I think it was $25 to get the great teams of the Negro Leagues.
Well, you'll be getting lots more stuff.
Oh my gosh.
Trust me. We just got to figure out how to get it to you. Right. So go ahead and open up. All right, now and then just open up a team. Doesn't matter whatever team
Okay.
because we want that bottom window.
Gotcha.
So I'm waiting because there's that little lag there. Cool. Now, when you go down, and again, I'm not looking at a Negro League file. Um, highlight what like just select like left click on one of the players in the bottom window so it is
Yep.
selected. Okay. Once you've done that, right click.
Yep.
Or no, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do it. Just leave it left clicked. I'm sorry. Then go up to the top of the window, the advanced draft window, all the way up where it says edit. Right.
Yep.
Go ahead and click on edit. And I'll wait for that to come up so I can see
Edit Cool
your.
Papa Bell.
There you go. And then when
Wow.
you go
Okay.
to it,
Gosh, how about a
when you go
right
to it,
click? How about a right click option box would have been a little nicer.
no, that would have been nice.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
but
Yeah. So,
there you go. It's editable, including his name and that list thing on each side. That gives you the list of every first name and every last name that Ernie Harwell says in the game.
wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then you can see
Cool.
there you
So I
can
can look
batting
at, okay,
patch.
I can see the range of injury is going to be, 0 to 3. I could put
Mhm.
the age in here since it's there
Yep.
and they did, and I'm putting that in on mine. I'm doing my height, weight, batting, age, all that
Mhm.
good stuff.
Now there's a special. I think there in the help file. There's a thing that talks about steel allowance. Steel allowance is something you're going to have to just read. It's not that long. That steel allowance is something that is kind of really important in
Yep.
APA baseball.
21 to
But
40
most
is the range for the arm. 21 low, 40. That's all the options I got.
right, right. Now,
Um,
yeah,
you can
probably
convert
has to
that
do
to a
with
1
your
to 10.
internal thing.
I can
Yeah,
convert that
sure.
back and forth.
There you
Interestingly
go.
enough, they don't break out left, center, and right because I know back in the old days, a lot of the
Right,
old
they don't.
seasons, you just had outfield, right?
Yep.
And then you might have games started. Now we've gotten to a good point where we have games started at each to break them down and put outs and fielding data. But yeah, that's
Yeah,
a
I
little
wish they did
bothersome
break
to
them
me.
down.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, again, it's not as deep as Action PC Baseball, but it does a lot. It doesn't do everything, but what out there does everything that Action PC Baseball can
yep.
do. Not even out of the park can do it. Oh, out of the park could do it, but it would be a real royal pain in the arse.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, then you just click batting. Once I get this editable card up, I can go in here and do whatever I want. Yeah, it looks good.
Yeah, so it's it's missing a few things, but I think there's a lot you could do with it. I mean, I don't knowing you as well now as I do, I don't see you getting as deep into this
No,
as Action PC Baseball.
no, but
But
it'll
I
be
think
fun.
it'll be fun. And again, this is something you can even have running in the background while you're creating
Exactly.
all the Action PC. sports products that you do.
And while I'm doing the Negro Leagues, I can throw some of these teams in here, or maybe even make a file and let
Hmm.
that play and entertain me while I'm doing it. So
Exactly.
again, I
Exactly.
think, oh, we've got 10 people here. My gosh, it's a quiet Sunday. Um, Beatles is helping me walk through my baseball for Windows that just came yesterday, and I've got it loaded up, and now I feel like I'm cool. I can navigate, look at some of the players on here. I can use it for references. It's interesting because let me pull up a player that I've got done, and of course the well, these are based on single season, so it's a little bit different. But
Yeah, so APA doesn't have something that is comparable to the baseball history collection in Action PC or the all-time great players Volume 1 and Volume 2, which is very similar to the baseball history collection. APA doesn't have anything like that. The only other analog I know of it, and it's total crap, is Strat PC's Career Historical Disc, which is just not worth it because
yeah,
it
I'm not
does a
doing
career
career.
average.
Yeah,
Right,
it's
we've talked about that. So
well, yeah, I know why they don't have it because
why
it
APA
takes some
doesn't have
time.
it?
I'm gonna guarantee you because it's taken me time. What have I been working on this for a few days now, and I put some serious hours into it already. Got 27 players done.
Right.
Um,
And I mean, Appa's a small company, and they're working with Appa Go,
yeah,
this game, which is Appa. So Appa Go is the basic game. Appa, this is the master game for all intents and purposes. Then they've got the cards and dice game. I doubt that they're gonna, maybe a Dave Cook, who's even smaller though than Appa, does something like a baseball history collection. I wish they would do it, but I wouldn't hold my breath. I think there's a lot you can do in here, Steve. And StatMaster is another cool program. Remember, this is very modular, and I think one thing it's important to note about Baseball for Windows is so you have this module up, but the other modules will quote unquote know that this is open. So that if you were trying to, let's say you were working in the league manager and you were setting up your schedule and stuff like this, you can't have this on at the same time. But if you will go back into League Manager later on, this will automatically be the thing that will pop up, which is really cool. And then it has Stat Master, which
yeah.
tracks stats during the season, sort of like the encyclopedia and Action PC. So it was doing a lot for its time. Strat PC wasn't doing this in 1994. And this is the updated version, but even the 1994 version of the game, you could do all this.
Oh, now if I can right click if as long as I'm not down here at the master universe here and I'm within the roster, I just right
What's
click.
letting you do that?
I right click and just hit edit and I can edit him. That's nice. Okay, so I was complaining it as long as I'm not
Oh
selecting him
yeah,
down
I
here and
see
I'm
that
in the
now too.
roster, it's easy.
Right. I see that now too. I must have been like clicking on something else and it was giving me all this weird.
So if I hit list, it's going to take a while. This is going to be all the valid recorded names.
Yes, all of them.
Okay.
And that's including for cities, everything. The only thing that you're not going to see in here will be numbers that he said, but you
Okay.
know, they're all in there, so you don't have to guess. And if you want to create fictional teams, you've got that all in there, so that's nice. I think the only regrettable thing is it doesn't break it down into left, center, and right field. But
I can see
you
here's what they're
know,
doing. They're taking certain positions here. Hmm. No, anyway, fun. This is good. I'm liking it.
I think you will. It'll grow on you. I think.
I mean, this isn't going to be my game engine to go play and do everything, but I wanted
No.
to own it. I thought, hey, let's get this league file up for reference because it's interesting to go and see these
Hmm.
players here. I'm going to go look at my Willie Wells. Where have I got Willie Wells at?
And
They've
like we
got him
said,
a
with
7, a
this
4, and a 10 at short. Let me see what I've
the
got him.
stuff that's gonna land in your box, you'll be like, oh, I wonder what I could if I could do that. So um, there's a lot you can do with this game, and much easier Strat PC. I always bring that one up when I'm talking about this because these two are direct competitors with one another.
All right, let me
These
take
two
a look
old
at my
games.
Willie Wells I've got here. Yep. Let's see what I got here. I got Wells. I got him as a 9, 8 on the pivot. He's a 7 base run. Let's see what they've got their ratings at here. Oh, we've got speed. He's a 19, so speed can go all the way 1 to 20, so he's fast. Steel success, it's just interesting
Yes.
ranges for me that they have.
Right. And those, so, and it's like the steel allowance is something, um, God, is it in here? Maybe I can find it in here.
It's
Because
probably
it's
his jump. It's probably a jump rating, right?
probably
I'm
jump, right?
I'm thinking
Exactly.
with him, he's probably got a good jump or something.
Right.
Nice. They
There.
got
There,
him
I found
7 at
steel
short.
allowance. I found it. What a guy I am. All right. So steel allowance, um, an APA rating,
Okay.
actually a combination of two ratings. See steel success rating. And this is, we'll just call this STA for short, right? The STA is an indication of how frequently the player attempted to steal a base in comparison to his total opportunities to do so. The STA is a letter assignment ranging sequentially, that is A, B, C, etc., from A, very high frequency, to G, relatively low frequency, plus R, rare, and N, never. The STA combines with the steel success rating
Mhm.
STS to form the steel rating, thus A28 or D14. Baseball, the STA letter rating is only meant as a guide to indicate to the manager how often a particular player was given the green light during the actual season to steal a base, generally second base. It has no effect on the actual ability to steal.
Hmm.
I don't know if that's helpful or not.
It is, but it makes me wonder if they limit jump because, like in action, they'll limit like a jump. Like you can't go and steal with a guy that was eight steals out of 7 attempts, right? Or I'm sorry,
Right. Or
seven,
set, right. 7 out
successful
of
out of
8.
8 attempts.
Right.
They're not going to let you steal and just get a jump every game and get him to 162. They're going to limit that with a jump rating. And then if you start
Right.
trying to override that, bad things are going to happen to you, right? You're going to get him picked off. It's going to say, hey, couldn't get jumped or whatever. Your
Well,
percentage will get reduced.
you'll find a lot of these ratings actually now that I'm looking, and I'm just looking at the advanced draft. If you go to help and just type in, so I just found still success rating. So, which is, I think this is a little bit more. This has to do with with steel success, I guess. It says here just really quickly.
Yeah.
APA rating is a component of the steel rating and which partially determines the likelihood of a player successfully stealing a base. In effect, is a measure of his ability to successfully steal bases. So this is a little bit different than steal allowance. And this says the rating ranges from 0, failed every attempt, to 36, was never caught. Players who frequently attempt to steal bases typically fall somewhere between 24 and 31. Notice that it is possible to be given a high allowance letter in combination with a low success rating, for example, A14. When stealing base or stealing second base, the factors that affect success, including the STS, the catcher's throw rating, the pitcher's move to first rating, which all these are hyperlinked and it will explain those, and the choice to hold or not hold the runner on first. The steal of third base is affected only by the STS and the catcher's throw rating. Makes sense. I mean, you don't see a lot of pitchers going to third. It happens, but steals of home are governed exclusively by the STS. Note, however, that steals of third and home have certain other built-in penalties. For example, stealing third is slightly harder when the batter is left-handed. Also, double steals have special effects built in the process. But you can go through here in this help file and find. I didn't realize that there was like a move to first rating, and it goes from 0 to 3. And it seems like you're right, Steve. The higher number, the better.
Yeah. They just have some
And the
different. I'm just so used to this where I can see a 1 to
right,
10. And for a pitcher, I know, their hold rating, which is going to encompass what
right.
they allowed somebody to take off and pick offs and that good stuff. But
I think
yeah,
actions makes it's more transparent.
yeah, it's
I think
just
that would be
instead of,
accuracy.
doing 1 to 10 for certain ratings there, then they switch over to letters and then you
Yeah,
start here. Now it may have something to do to translate over to how they, you know, have their numbers on a card. Who knows? But
it is exactly like that actually. Because if I mean, of course you can't see my screen, but if I'm just picking some guy here, I don't know whoever, right? So Lou Finney, um, if I look at his card for the APA Master game, which the other advantage this has over Strat PC, you actually have to spend extra for the cards. This they come in the game. Um, So yeah, it's showing here his ratings as a second baseman, as an outfielder. So shows his steal. He's an F12 for a steal, and then what type of hitter he is. Whether and that's similar. Oh, you're looking, so you're seeing. And yeah, it's you also found that you can even edit the cards.
Yeah, and when I look at the card, it's about as meaningful to me as looking at just the texture on my wall.
And that's where I wish Ken Castro was. There he is. Ken, Ken. Let's pick Ken's brain here.
Yeah, we're just
Maybe
talking,
he can
Ken. We're
explain
just
some.
talking, Ken. I'm glad I can get in here and I love this file because I was just for reference taking a look at some of the things that they had to come up with that didn't exist for how they figured out their strikeout numbers and stuff that I find it interesting as I'm building the Negro League file for our project here to see what they did. But as I'm looking at their ratings here, here's some second base, the range is only 5 to 9, third base is this. Hey, it looks like 1 to 10, but I guess the bottom end of it doesn't go down to one. The arms being between the numbers 21 and 40. Just use a 1 to 10. They use a 1 to 10, it seems, for some things. Then other things, we've got weird ranges. So my assumption would be it's how it translates to the outcome slots or the ranges on cards. That's what my
Mhm.
gut's telling me because they're probably running off rolled dice, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I would think so.
instead of just generated random numbers.
Right,
That would be
because
mine.
even though this is an AI game, unlike Strat PC, this isn't a direct conversion of the cards and dice game because
Yeah.
it's using AI and stuff like that. But so I don't know, and it's been so long since I played. Ken says here they use different ranges to build the team defense. So Ken, we're looking at these player cards and we don't understand them.
Yeah, it's a little convoluted, but I don't need to understand them because I sure is not going
Right.
to start building expansive leagues into here.
In
But
this,
it is
right?
nice to fire up a game. So why don't we do that? Why don't you show me how to
Let's
fire
fire
a
up a
game
game.
up?
Okay, so all you have to do is exit out of advanced draft.
Okay.
Okay, and then
Now we'll go
you
back to
need
the
to
play ball. Boom.
you no. You want to go to league manager. You got to set because now
Oh boy.
unless you just want to go ahead and set lineups yourself, you can do that. There's Al Red Sox fan. It
All
depends
right.
on what you want to do. If you want to actually set this up where stats count and everything,
No.
you don't want to do that.
No.
Okay, so that means you're gonna have to set your own lineups and stuff like that. And Ken's
Is
giving
that a
us some
pain in the butt?
ranges here. If you don't mind setting up lineups, it's not a
Well,
pain
let
in
me
the
do
butt,
it. So let me fire this game up.
right? But if you do it through from League Manager and you create it as an actual league to be played, the AI will set your managers or you set your lineups and stuff for you. So,
Play ball.
right, play ball is just for doing unscheduled games.
Yep. That's me.
Ken says range is pitchers um, 1 to 2, catchers 5 to 9, first base 2 to 5, shortstop 6 to 10,
Oh, I see what he's
thirds
saying.
2 to 6.
They're looking at like an overall value of how those important positions were components in an overall um,
Defense.
team range. I know
Right.
where he's at now. Because shortstop, you're gonna be at least a 6 to 10, where the other ones aren't going to be as instrumental
Hmm.
based on the number of balls hit to the positions. I got it. All
Well,
right, we're gonna do a game.
wish we could get Al in on this. I wish we could do a three-way call. I know he's not in our Discord. It'd be fun to get the three of us on here this way without doing StreamYard.
I know. Well, maybe Al should join Discord, and then we could just Discord call him in.
Oh, you can do three-way call. That'd be fun. You do got to do
It's
it
interesting.
sometime.
I don't know. Well, I got to get a little bit better at Discord anyway. I did a let's see. Oh yeah, I can add friends to the direct message here. So if,
So,
if Al joined us
um,
on the Discord,
right, and he may not be ready to. I
yeah,
mean,
he's not ready. He might just be wanting to
just
listen
hang
to
out.
us below here. But yeah, we'll
Yeah.
grab a couple teams here. What do we got? We've got Homestead.
Oh, the
Um,
Homestead Grays. Gotta love them.
how about Chicago here? And then home
And then
team.
you got to click on the radio button for home. See that? In the gray. Yeah. There you go.
So
Now
we
you can
got them
set your
right.
home team. There you go. Then you click OK.
We got
I
two teams that
never,
look at these records.
I never use the play ball screen. I always run everything from League Manager. So, but it's basically the same except you're going to set your own lineups and you can set an AI manager for the other.
To
So those
allow bunt for
seconds,
hit, sure, right?
right? And then the very top, that's just I keep it a professional because if you can't make a decision in what 5 or 10 seconds whether
Yeah.
to send your runner, you shouldn't be managing
Pitcher
baseball.
three batter rule. No, we don't need that. All right, let's see how hard this is to set a lineup.
Not
And
too bad.
I don't have a do it or a let's see.
Oh, okay. Because here's the thing: when you're working outside League Manager, you have to set the lineup, even for the AI, and then it will
Okay.
manage. That's why I always work out of League Manager because it just does them both. So you basically just drag and drop up into your batting order, I believe.
Oh, I got you.
Either that or you double click. It's one of the two. Yep, there you go. Then you put them where you want them.
Gosh, now I know why you do it. I don't have enough data here for me to make an educated
Yeah,
decision, do I?
yeah. Well, you have to know it's those ratings and yeah,
All right. I guess I could double click on them, but
yeah.
you know,
Which is why. Yeah, there you go. There's your. Then you get that. Or if you were like Ken and you were a cards and dice player, you could look at his APA Mastercard, as it were, and look at his ratings. Again, I don't even know what they mean.
oh, I see what you're saying. I can right click. It says Hill. I can announce him, right, and put him in wherever I want. Pete Hill.
Right. Mhm.
Announce him at second base. This is
I
a
don't
pain
know
in
if
the
you
butt.
set the other team as auto, if it will do it. Yeah, that's why I use League Manager. I don't ever play exhibition
All
games
right,
in this thing.
there we go. League manager. You've talked me into it.
Yeah, I would just do that. Now, there's a couple things you have to set up in League Manager, though. Once it's done, it's done. And says also in the master game, the end result of play is dependent upon one's individual fielding rather than a team rating. Okay, you already have this pretty much set up. I see you already created a schedule and everything, or there's one for it. So if you go up to
Sure.
select
Yeah.
in the upper left corner,
Uh-huh. Load.
you already have. Um, wait, okay, so the schedule's not complete. That's the thing. I'm not gonna be able to see chat, but I'm gonna make this screen so I can see exactly what you're doing. Okay, so what you want to do is you've got to set up. First thing is go to. No, you're good there. You don't have to load anything. It's already there. However, you're gonna work left to right. So go to schedule. To your AIM. That's done. Go to league play because I'm just seeing where you are. So go to league play after schedule to the right. You don't need. Okay, go to rules. Next over. Trust me. Okay, you're good there. Go to lineups. AIM is next. Hmm. This is. I wonder why this is weird, or why is this like this? Because you should be able to. Can we go back to schedule and see if we can do to like initialize the schedule?
There's nothing.
Everything's grayed out. That is weird. That is weird because if I could show you how this is like so simple to do. Um.
There you go.
All right, so it's there because you should have the ability now. Did you close the play ball screen completely?
Yeah.
Okay. Um, go ahead and
Hey, this is how
yeah,
I felt when I fired up PC replay basketball or baseball for 45
baseball.
minutes and
Yeah,
tried to get a game going, and I thought, the heck,
right.
and I shut it
But
off.
this is really simple. What I'm not understanding is why it's not giving you any choices because there is right because when you go to select, you should already be ready to go to play manual games or background games in the background. It's really that simple.
Do I can I restore organization?
Now restore organization. You can try it, but what it's going to do is go ahead. You'll see what it does, just so you can. Want to go ahead and click on it just to see what it does.
Opens up nothing.
Right, because you don't have any backed up. What those
Okay.
are is if you're playing an online league or something like that. And this is a way that you can create these organization files and send them to your managers in your league, and they can bring it in. I've never seen this before. What's going on here with this?
Well, let's 1986.
Yeah. So just bring up a team, and then you have to go. Whoa, whoa! You have to go to organization under season. No, no, no. Oh, move over to the left, and there's a big long box that says organization. There you go. And then you just want to pick 1986. See,
Replay
it says replay
1986.
1986. Yeah, and click that.
Okay.
So yeah, after you select that, you'll see that it'll populate. Click OK. Now, right now, because you don't have the teams named, he's not going to call them the Baltimore Orioles, Boston
Oh, I
Red
got
Sox,
you.
Cleveland Indians. He's going to call them the visitors and the locals. Okay,
But
now you can start to actually play a game.
nice.
Believe it or not, it is easier than PC replay. So go to select. See, it says play manual game. Go ahead and select that. You'll see that it will do the lineups for you. All right. So then you have a list of games that you can pick from. You just click in that black box, select one, whoever you want to play. And then, okay, Boston at Detroit, click OK. All right, now what you want to do is go to auto. If this is the team you don't want, and you can actually, so if you go to manual, first go to manual, and I'll show you how to do this. Go to manual. You see there's manual and auto. All right, now down there, you send your manager, the little box under it. Oops, no, no, just above that. Click on that. There. Those are the four managers. Select Johnny McCoy because I'm guessing this is going to be an AIM schedule, Advanced Injury Management. He's a non-AIM manager, and you'll get some. So go to Johnny McCoy. Um, you have that on auto. Just go ahead and click OK. I know
Yeah.
this is really
Lineup's
strange,
incomplete.
but
This is horrible.
no, it's not actually. It's not once you get used to it. Um, I don't know why it's doing that. Let me see. Go ahead and let's see if it will let you X out of it. This is really simple.
Yeah, I just want
I
to
should jump
fire
back
up
on
a.
right because I could jump on my stream and you'll be like, oh my god, it's that easy. Okay, so go ahead and close that out again. All right, go back to this is really easy. So go back to League Manager, which is open at the bottom. Go to select. Actually, before you
Yeah,
do that,
I
go
don't.
to
But see, here's the problem. I don't even want to do anything with 1986. I want 1986 to go away. I want to get this.
the Negro League one.
Yes, that's what I want to do.
Okay, let's bring it up again and let me see because I've there's something going on there that shouldn't be going on. You should be able to do everything from there.
Okay. Well, let me
Well, again, you're
do
bringing up the play ball screen, so this is where you're gonna have to set your own lineups. Back again. I know what you're feeling. I
it's
felt
horrible.
when I first thought, I'm like, wow, this is really hard. But then I got it. PC replay baseball, I've tried twice and gave up. I think this is easier. So go ahead and select load data disk. It'll actually down there at the bottom, you'll see OTNL, I guess is what it is. Or you can do it from here. Select organization, professional baseball, select OK. No, no, you don't want to install a data disk.
Okay.
So X out of that completely.
Okay.
Right, so just click OK in that window. All right, now, if we go to select, I want to see. I have no idea why it shouldn't be doing this. I wonder if there's a bug in this file. Because all of those options should be open because right, there should be nothing grayed out at this point.
Well,
So you may need to may need to email them. Everything I'm going to send you will work right off the rip. Trust me.
nice. And then maybe I'll let you take a peek at this one.
Right. I'm gonna go ahead and go out of here. But yeah, it's simple.
So yeah, ridiculous. Yeah. Anyway, just wanted to fire up a game and let a couple of the classic Negro League teams play in the background, and this may be harder than I thought. But yeah, this is.
It's
Um,
actually really easy. I'll show you how to do it, but I have to see what the deal is with that file. There's something wrong with the file. There's something in there not right because it literally is bring up league manager, select play manual game, select your managers, and boom, the game just starts. It really is. It's a three-click process. And
where does it keep the season files?
okay, go to C, users, documents, APA baseball. You'll see it in there when you go in your C drive. If you installed it to your C drive, or if it's your D drive, wherever you installed it, you want to go to that. I think it puts everything on your C drive as far as like the manager's ballpark seasons, everything like that. Yeah, we
Hmm.
can't share screen from Discord onto your live stream in YouTube.
Hmm.
A lot faster, be a lot faster to explain and show you. Urgh, it's maddening because it
Yeah,
really is easy.
this is about as fun as getting a tooth pulled right now. And Arnold, I agree with you. Know Arnold, he messaged me the other day, and I'm feeling it right now. This is like this is not. This is a little clunky,
It's a little clunky,
and
but
I'm trying to figure out where in the heck my the season files reside.
okay. So go to your file explorer. Oh, I can't see on your screen, so I can tell you exactly
Okay,
where they
well hold
are.
on. Okay, now it's
Okay.
AP under baseball. Uh,
When you open baseball,
yeah,
then you should see. Oh, the best way to
nothing.
talk you through it is to look at mine too at the same time. I will do a quick tutorial stream on this game, even tonight or something. Like it will literally take like 10 minutes. So in mine, it's C users public documents APA games baseball. You go into that baseball directory, everything is there. Your managers, ballparks, um, everything is on there, and every season that you have. And then there's subdirectories for like the audio and stuff, which you really don't need to get
Have
into
no idea where
because
any of this stuff resides from trying to just even find it at all. I've
really,
got it on my D drive. D drive, I can go in and I can go into program files and I see, oh wow, I've got an APBA games thing, then a baseball folder in it. Then I've got my
right?
BB32, all that good stuff, but I don't know where the
No,
seasons are.
right? No, because here's what it does. A lot of, as Arnold Hunter says, please do a tutorial. I will. It really is not bad.
Well,
So
nothing's
what
bad
this
if you
game,
know if you once you figure it out, but the
right?
figuring it out, unless you had somebody to guide you through like you're going to do, this would be frustrating.
Right. It would be frustrating, and it was. And it took me a few hours when I first got this game.
Oh
So
my
what
gosh.
this game does is what a lot of modern games still do, believe it or not, is they'll put like the main executable, but they will also then put data. It's hard coded into the installer where it's going to go. So all your seasons and stuff are actually going to be located on your C drive. They don't take up that much room. So if you go to your C drive,
Hmm.
that's where you're going to find everything. So go to C,
Okay, I see it now. See baseball. There you go.
there. That's where everything is.
Yeah, and what's interesting, okay.
Hmm. So anything
And
that like
and what's the file that's good? Like, if I've got this let me just send you something via
sure.
email. And I imagine you just zip some of these seasons if you wanted to, correct?
Uh, I can zip them all. I mean, if you're interested, I have like
No, I'm just
thousands.
saying, I mean, they
Right.
should be zipped here. Right. This has got to be really exciting for people to tune into this.
Huh. Well, then I still have at least a minor part to play in the community there.
Cool.
Only having not only having these like up, in the afternoon for people that don't necessarily have the game, but I do know how to. I'm so used to this baseball game that
Well,
it was
someday,
frustrating at first. It
yes,
was frustrating at first, and it's
someday,
not user friendly.
yeah. This was exactly what uh, where I've tried. I've spent the last time it was about 45 minutes. I want to love PC replay baseball so bad. I'm like, just to give it a try. It looks
True.
good to me. I see Al Red Sox fan playing it right. It looks like a good game. I'm like, hey, let me try this out. And I got I love that. I downloaded and had some of the rolling pictures and the music that comes on at the screen. I'm like, hey, this is pretty cool. Um,
Hmm.
but I'll be damned if I couldn't get a just firing a game up. And I'm like, hey, let me
It's
just play a game. With the demo they give you. I think it's 2014 season. And I'm like, oh, you got to be kidding me. I'm still farting around here for 45 minutes. I just want to fire up a game and get into gameplay and see, if I like the game and all that. So that was about a week ago. I think I spent that time. And
hmm
yeah,
Yeah,
well,
I kind of
I
gave
would like
I
to.
gave up on it twice.
I
So
wanted to give it a chance to see why it is so awesome, and I
right,
just wanted to play a game with it, see if I even like the gameplay
sure.
or whatever. And I couldn't even do that, so I was like, no,
So
forget
Arnold,
it.
and for you guys, I'll do a quick baseball for Windows thing, how to
That
navigate
will
through
be
it.
good.
It'll be short. It'll be a short video. It'll be like Q&A. You guys ask questions.
Yep.
How do I do this? How do I do that? I'll be glad to do it. It is, and I know it's easy for me to say. It actually, once you get used to this modularity, it makes sense. I'll tell you right. One of the other reasons why I don't play Strat PC is that interface is way worse than this. I didn't find that user friendly at all. And all I need to do is tell people I'm not the only one. Look at ID Jester's epic rant about Strat PC baseball that's up on his channel back from 2019. If you think APA's tough, Strat PC's worse. It is way worse. But then we got this beautiful Action PC, and everything is so user
Yeah.
friendly,
It's
right?
like, why am I messing with it?
It's
So
beautiful. Yeah.
let me. I'm noticing something here. I think I need to drop some uh, player photos into my subdirectory that I'm using for this league. And I don't know if we mentioned it to Al what we're doing. Al Red Sox fan with this. I don't know if he's aware of this adventure into the Negro League greats file.
I don't think he knows about it yet.
But
I don't
Al,
know if he
we
knows
are
about
we are. If you want to get in on this, the goal was. I don't really know what the goal was, Beatles, to set up maybe a small league, I guess, really, and just for the Negro League file. So similar to what Beatles did with the Ned McGreevy and the Dead Ball. So what he's done is kind of inspired me. And then Big Clue came along with some of these MLE research for major league equivalencies and all this. And now I'm consumed with this and I'm enjoying it. The historical part of it, I really enjoy because I'm learning a lot as I go, making player photo packs, doing bios and that. If you haven't noticed, Al, what we've done with this is I've been crunching numbers and building the team, but what I'm doing is instead of using the note section that would show like Hall of Fame, MVP, Triple Crown winner, all that good stuff. It's 100 characters only, but I'm using it for like a little bio. So when you click on like Josh Gibson here on the player card, that bio shows down here where it used to just highlight maybe awards, significant awards that they won. So not a big bio, but it's given us a little bit, and then doing player photos to go with it. So hopefully, I noticed I had Ray Dandridge here. Oh, okay, now he's got photos. Cool. I'm wanting to make sure as I go and I complete that I'm double checking all of this and my ratings and all that good stuff. Thanks,
it.
World
These
Sports Gamer. I just came up with it. I'm like, how many characters will this allow me to allow you 100 characters? So I'm just looking at their bio at Wikipedia and at Baseball Reference Bullpen and just seeing if I can grab some real quick info that might be interesting, like you'd see on the back of baseball cards in the old days.
Tell you what, guys. After Steve and I are done here, immediately after, I'll do a baseball for Windows tutorial because I know we have
That
some
would
new
be
owners
great.
of the game. Right, immediately after this. The other thing that Steve's doing. Um, he kind of sort of glossed over the MLEs, but those MLEs are super
Oh
important
man,
because these players are going to be able to play now on an even playing field, literally.
yeah.
Right,
So
Steve, do you think it might be
uh,
it might to helpful for these guys to illustrate if you could show one of Dave's seasons and then show the difference, right? Like because you can see the one loss records of those teams. Maybe they to appreciate more what you're doing here.
yeah.
Like
So
so, remember here's pot. Let's pick somebody that's going to be in one of his leagues. So like Martin Diego, right? We can
yep,
look at his plate appearance numbers and everything, and we can see that they're Major League Baseball level stuff.
yeah.
Then just remember that when we look at one of the seasons. I forget when Diego played.
Yeah. So, well, I can tell you. So I'll be using 3 seasons from his, and then I average those 3 seasons. So, like, if I took 1920, 1930, and 40, that I divide them by three, it equals 1930. So that's how I'm assigning them, right? So sometimes it might be 1922, 26, 29, whatever, and I'm averaging those and putting them in a year. But we can look at one of Dave's folders here. So we got a bunch of them
Yeah,
here. So
I
let's
think it'd
take
be
a
nice
look at.
because
Let's look at this one.
you could play those because you can't play those guys in like a regular league
Let's go
as
find
good.
a player.
All right.
Player search. Let's take a look at Gibson. So so here we go. Oh, he'll for the Grays. Let's go back here. Um, Here we go. So you got 238 at bats, 64 games. He's batting 315. This is 1934 stats for him, right? So fielding, these are actions, got some ratings here, different things, right? That's a single season that they're having to go for. So I've got Gibson on our file here, averaging 3 seasons, and I can let you know which three they are. We're pretty close to it. It's 34, they're in the 30s, 34, 35, 37. Um, and let's take a look at Gibson. And this is going to be based on a 154 game major league equivalency. And there's his line. 132 out of those 154 games we'd expect him to play, batting 331, 34 home runs. And that right now is my first run. That's got all the numbers crunched where a major league equivalency, that's what we could expect to see for him. Now, there's still some tweaking I might do because what I want to do is I was always going to build that best 3 years MLB player one. So now I'm going to start building some of those great players and using that same philosophy that I'm doing here. And then I can see how both are stacking up and kind of commingling, right? And see how it looks to me and kind of see if there's anything that stands out. But that's what I'm doing. And it's taken quite a while to do a pay. I'm telling you, there's a lot of fielding positions. It's tough. It's tougher. It's just time consuming. And then pitching too. Pitching's been the one as far as the formulas because the major league equivalencies are only going to give you um, certain lines. They're not going to give you every line here, right? So you're going to have to figure out with some of these um, what realistic numbers would be. So it's fun stuff.
And I think it's going to be so awesome to be able to because
Who else we got? Pop Lloyd. Got Pop Lloyd.
you wanted to fold this into a larger all-time greats league then too. And that'll be great to see that happen.
Yes,
Mhm.
that will be fun. So yeah, great shortstop, heavy hitter, batted cleanup, but was an excellent bunter. Martin, he go take a look at some of the pitchers. This is the one that's been really good too. This guy right here, Cyclone Joe Williams. How about
Also
this?
Smokey
He
Joe
struck
Williams.
out 27 batters in a 12 inning game. Some fun tidbits just to throw in there. But you'll see with a lot of these players, all the pitchers also are going to have some fielding, a little bit of fielding broken out. The interesting one here with Oscar Charleston, he's 356 hitter with 26 home runs, real great batting line, but he did pitch. Not a lot, but he's a part-time pitcher. Not great pitching numbers, but he can pitch. Cristobal Toriente here. Stocky, bow-legged, five-tool player with excellent defense. So I'm having fun. I'm really having fun with these because I'm having to go to Wikipedia, Baseball Reference Bullpen, finding the information out. So it's kind of like it's almost like a history project I'm doing that will be that will result in a playable file. That's kind of how I'm viewing it, right? So a lot of learning along the way. I think we've shown it on some of the. What else we have? Oh,
You're going to end up being able
Bullet
to get a
Rogan.
job at the Negro League
This
Baseball
is
Hall of
great,
Fame
man.
when this is done.
This is wonderful. I mean, um, this is just yeah. I've had a blast doing it. So the pictures, I'm starting to create more and more pictures. They take probably 2 to 3 times as long as a regular player, just with some of the formulas and how I'm running. But now I could get a little bit more. I'm going to try to get a little bit more organized and create some of my the way I'm doing my formulas. Get some little hot boxes. I call them like an Excel, so I can crank them out a little bit better. I just haven't figured out which ones I want to do that for and be less manual with me with a calculator in my hand filling in stuff. But I'm getting a little bit now that I've got them down. I need to get a little bit more organized with those. It might be able to speed up my process a little bit later. But yeah, Bullet Rogan. So when you look at the pictures, I mean, when you bring them out to an equivalency, game started, you'll see. It's interesting. You start seeing them with similar lines that you would some of the greats, right? Like Johnson and them. Where this would be a common line that you might see them start like 36 games, but they'd have
Right.
5 or 6 relief appearances. That's just what caught my eye when I started doing these. I haven't started comparing them to it then, but and MV says can't wait to see an exhibition when you created enough. That'll probably be midweek. MV
On
mid
this on Steve's channel. It's going to be awesome.
midweek on Steve Channel because I've got some players here that are ready to go. As soon as I get about 20 for each, which is probably be midweek. I'll split them up, get about 6, 7 decent pitchers on each side, and yeah, start playing some games to see how things are turning out.
Do you know it'd be nice, Steve, if Dave Cook could do it? It just occurred to me. So you're doing all these great, right, the descriptions that come on the player cards.
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't it be cool if it added in a little banner in the screen that could bring those up for those players, right? So that
Oh
when you're
yeah, yeah,
doing a game, you can be like, oh, now so, and I'm going back to our Ned McGreevy league. So it's like, and here's
yeah,
Walter Johnson, Hall of Fame class of 1936. Blah 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 blah. It would be so cool if those what's on the player cards could come up in a little banner on the main screen.
for
Really good
sure.
though. Yeah.
Switching the play. I've got what I've done here is I'm trying to give different options for the players too. Now, for most of them, if I can get 3 or 4 pictures, I will. Depending on what was available for the player. But that's what I'm trying to do. So when you come over here, you may, you could go over here and here's Ray Dandridge. Um, well, his won't show until I exit out and come back. But like Rube Foster, here's some for Rube Foster. Pop Lloyd's got a few different ones in here, so you can. My goal is to give you some options. That way, if we have a file that goes along with this, you can pick the one you want. But it's always going to default to the one that I have first underscore last. But it's so easy in the game to come in here team by team. It doesn't take that long to take a look at what options because the game offers them up. Like here's some different ones for. Got one of Josh Gibson with his. We could use that photo or one of him batting, right? So I like it. Kind of dresses things up. Not a lot of Roy Parnell. I'm still looking for some other photos. I've only got one of him, but Mule Suttles, Cristobal Torriente here. We've got some different ones. I even
These
put some ones that are like card art on there.
these baseball cards that you see, the ones that are images, are ones that Steve did. So he created the template, and they look phenomenal.
Yeah, I'm just going to Google and finding, photos. Oh, I use different images. I mean, I'll go to different places.
See,
Google the main one to look for some of these photos. But if I bring this file over, I'm just using bring this one over. It's probably it's the same one. I'm just using my Snagit here. And as you can see, I've got, I just created this as a template. So I can just come in here and change the name. I'm not putting positions, it slows me down. Not doing, so I've got one nice template, just kept it simple, put the logo right here. And I'm going to probably do something similar for the greatest player file. Since it won't be team specific, I'll probably follow the same format, maybe find an MLB logo to put in here in the place. And maybe I'll change the colors a little bit. That way it'd be kind of cool if you're playing to know that you've got a Negro League player card up or a regular player. I don't know. I still haven't done any of those yet, but just using that format.
Amazing stuff.
Nice.
What we want to do is, as far as then when the league itself is ready, which will be later this year, to try to get a couple other channels to take this league file and maybe do a draft league on your own channels or something. I don't know, some way to. I know Anthony Bleacherbums Gaming said he's definitely interested, and hopefully Al might be interested. I'm not trying to do this to build my channel. This is a way to get this really important file out to other channels and baseball fans and see to use it, whether it's the Negro League itself and you just want to do a draft league, or then went further down, this gets folded into an all-time great players league or what have you, and then these players are playing on that. In fact, even what, Steve, if you think about it, as easy as Action PC it does to draft players onto a team. Hell, even just when this 8-team league is done, it would already be ready to bring in some players on some teams. Like I'm thinking about those 1964 Phillies, right? With
Hmm.
that terrible pitching staff, wouldn't it be fun to put a couple of these great Negro League pitchers on that 64 Phillies
Oh
team
yeah,
and let them go to town? Our Red Sox fan does a lot of that stuff now with Major League
yeah.
Baseball.
Where's my NL? Let's take a look at that. Here it is.
The Phillies team, great power, but wow.
Yeah, horrible. Yeah, that would be fun bringing them in and see how they would perform, right? And
Right.
yeah, you're talking about this one. This is the last before I kind of retired from doing franchise 5 year stuff. While I devote time to this, this was the last team I built for grins and giggles. Look at their record: 66 and 88 they averaged over these 5 years. But they're in the hitter friendly uh, Baker Bowl, right?
Hmm.
And you've got some real power here with Lefty O'Doul. I mean, look at the hitters. I mean, you've got what, 11 batters or something batting over 300 on this team. But then you say, okay, well, that's great. We're going to tear it up. Yeah, but guess what? Your visiting club's going to tear it up too because look at these ERAs.
This is awful.
Let's just start it by your starters. So here's your starters you got to choose from. You're like, man, can I pitch Ray Benj and Ed Holly every other day? That's basically what you want to do here because they've got some, you know, not great numbers for that era at all, but these aren't bad considering the rest of the people you got to go to. Well, anyway, a fun team to play around with in there, and yeah, and I think the next thing that'll be interesting for me, and I may do it here later today because yeah, this is what I do: just sit around and come up with ideas. Right? Is how do I take my let's take a look at a best 2 years of well, you know
Can
what?
I
Let's
address
let
something that World's Worst Gamers asking while you're doing that? Just really
yeah,
quickly.
go for it.
Game does have dual monitor support, World's Worst Gamer Action PC Baseball. You do not need dual monitor support to stream it, though. You really do not. I have dual monitor turned off, and I stream this game.
Yeah,
All dual monitor does is you have the game screen on one monitor, and then like your stats, rosters, everything you can have on the other. And actually, unless you have three monitors, you wouldn't want to do dual monitor for streaming, unless you have three monitors. So you do not need dual monitor support to stream this game, but it does support it. It does
let's
have
take
it.
a look at baseball history, the 5,000 plate appearances, whatever. Okay, these are going to be like your premier people that played a long time, right, Beatles? I don't know if I've
Right.
ever fired this up, but let's go take a look
I have.
for
Cool.
comparison.
Hmm.
Not this streamed down version. I haven't done a ton of messing around with the history collection, which is a must own. But
Oh yeah.
let's go to player search here and start looking for some of these, like a Babe Ruth. So Action PC is not showing which years they're using, right? But we know that this is the peak line they're gonna use for Ruth, right? 381, 40 home runs. So you can tell that has been neutralized somewhat and then pulled out of the park. So the factors are low, right? So that's what we can expect there. And
I think
what's another one?
Bonds is rated has the most home runs in this collection.
Will Gehrig, yeah, he's 33 home runs, still high batting average, 1931 neutral park. So yeah, it's going to be interesting when I'm grabbing because these shorter year spans for the peaks, the longer they played, right, which means they can benefit but from some of their better seasons. I still don't know how many that is. I don't know how he carded those and did that. But I'm just picking three. I'm taking the best three and going to make that. I've done the same. These Negro League files have the best three too. So I'm just going to keep it. And it'll be interesting as I start building some of the great players that we know, where I can start comparing one file to the other and kind of see where they match up to make sure I like what my numbers look like. That'll be this next week as I'll build some of these out too, because these are a lot quicker to build. I have a lot of the data already crunched in
Right.
various forms. Yeah,
I've seen some of your spreadsheets. Oh my God,
yeah,
that's incredible.
yeah, they go on forever. I have so many different sheets and tabs. I was realizing that these a lot of these go back. Well, I know it goes back further than that, but a lot of these go back at least 13 to 14 years.
Wow, that's
I
insane.
mean, not that they just were done then, but building on them and having them grow and all that kind of good stuff. So anyway, good fun stuff
The world's
with
worst
that.
gamer. Before I was working with a second monitor, I never ran into the mouse flickering issue. Um, so what I would do when I was just working with one monitor is actually monitor chat either in an Android or on my phones because you can do that, and YouTube has a really neat thing where you can just see the chat. But yeah, I mean, if you're live streaming, it's nice to have that. I use my second monitor just to monitor chat. That's what I use it for. I have the game on the main screen, and then when the recap comes up at the end, it'll just automatically come up. Yeah, it's you know, try to live stream something like Warhammer 40,000 Inquisitor without a second monitor, and you're going to get all kinds of Robbie's wives coming in and stuff like that. So, but that dual monitor support is in there in the game. I can show. Well, I can show you where that is. I never use it, but it's cool if you're playing offline. It's real nice actually. And in fact, I almost wanted to get a third monitor just to, because I know like when we're playing in the Ned McGreevy League, Ken Castro likes to make all kinds of roster moves and this and that. And I'm thinking, wow, I should get a third monitor because I can be doing all that monitoring chat and the game at the same time. But I've never seen the mouse flickering issue. Have you, Steve? In all the years you've been playing this?
No,
I've never seen it either.
I'm just checking a couple things out real here for comparison.
Oh, sure. I didn't mean to jump in on you.
Oh no,
I
you're
just
good. It's
saw
we're
the
hamming and egging
question.
it. I like it.
So
Um, let me see here.
V says he's going to be right behind the dugout when you do an exhibition with these teams.
I'm gonna give you. I'm giving you. I'm looking at my numbers here, and I'm giving you a little bit of. Hold on one second. Entertain them. Give me about 2 minutes here because I'm gonna give them some comparison info.
Right. So guys, if you can get the word out maybe to the other channels, if we could pull ID Jester in on this somehow, that would be amazing. Guy has over 2,000 subscribers, and he does do baseball. It's mostly modern baseball, like you know what I mean by modern baseball, like that we've all lived to see. None of us in this chat have ever seen Negro League baseball. We're not old enough, but um, to try to get this into sort of a neat thing where people are trying. And I already did that with the 5-year franchise files because I was talking about them so much on my channel, and he happened to pop in one night, and I said, "Dude, you have to get these. You have to check these out." And he's doing some really really neat things with it. And I'm hoping is that maybe other channels might want to get involved in a really concerted effort because I think these are important files, not only just in and of themselves, but being able to for research purposes and for being able to play them, and again at all-time great leagues, or again just taking how much maybe how much putting Satch Page or like say Bullet Rogan or I don't know, just somebody right, just a couple great pitchers in there, for like those again those Phillies team in 1931 and do a kind of what if. I think I saw Al one time put Ted Williams on a team, just throw him in on a team, but it was after Ted retired, but it was using his, I forget what year of his stats, and it was really, really amazing, something he was playing around with. So for what ifs, there's so much you can do with this, and then just create a draft league, or I guess Steve also have, I think the player where these players originally came from, right as this file would build out more, like which take a long time, you could actually do. I mean, there's so much more that could be done, but
Yeah.
I think this is worth it. I mean, looking at these, looking at just Oscar Charleston, just his line going across there and batting leaders. I mean, obviously Steve hasn't tested these out, but as they are, you could put Oscar Charleston on any major league team, and he's going to play on that level playing field. He's not going to
Yep.
get eaten alive.
I'm just looking at my range so far, and this may not mean anything to anybody, and probably it's probably the quickest way to like explain it, right? And it's like if you just thought about what would their impact be lessened by, right? So you figure, okay, you've got the Negro leagues are their own thing, so we know all the numbers and the context that they put up within each other, right?
Right.
So let's say you're a 340 hitter in the Negro League. How diminished would that be coming over to the major league, right? You're not going to still hit 340 because the one thing we know is and you're going to face better pitching a little bit more often. So it's going to dampen it down, right?
Mm.
The talent's the talent, right? The best of this league is going to be match up well with the best of the other league, right?
Oh,
And this
absolutely.
is all guesstimates, right? So the it varies based on what I've been able to find out what the major league equivalence is, anywhere from like 86% to 94 to 95% for some of the better players effective. So, if you took a um, what I would say is like if you got a 340 hitter in the Negro leagues, an easy way to look at it would be you multiply that by zero point 0.9, and that might drop him down to a 306 ish, right? Now, this can't be done with a broad. You got to look at the individual player and a lot of different things in there, but it's similar, right? Some of the ranges will be, 97%, and I've seen some down as low, depending on the years, as like 88%. So, you might have your offensive prowess be reduced to about 97% of what it was there. So,
Hmm.
um, anyway, that's probably kind of a quick way to approach it, but there's a lot involved to kind of look at, how do you really rate them and get them over there. And then the pitchers are a little bit are tough too because there's so many more elements to their stat line to figure out with the formulas and anyway,
And all the
I
alchemy
love
that
it.
you're doing in the background.
Yeah. So, I mean, if we look at and I can tell you like what's Oscar Charleston, right? I've got him rated as a 356 hitter. Well, let me go take a peek at what in the Negro leagues for those seasons. Let me look at them.
So, Steve, I wanted to ask you while you're looking that up. So, even though these aren't play tested yet, could you put a couple of those guys in and let's say, like using that pitcher batter analysis tool to kind of get a sense to say how Charleston might hit against Sandy Koufax or something like
Um,
that, or isn't it ready for something like that yet?
well, let's do this. Here's where we can have some fun. Let's do it.
Okay.
Um, I was just going to say, so Charleston. So ideally, the years I'm using, he was probably up in the 370s to 380s. Is what I can't remember the exact. I have to go look at my charts here, but that's what I would say. So when you see 356 here for his top three, and then MLE'd over doing the equivalencies, you can rest assured that in the league he was probably another 20 to 30 points up probably, and the equivalencies vary right based on the 3 years that I've selected and then how that translates. And all that good stuff. But if that interests anybody, it's just kind of a, some people take a bigger hit because depending on the year and era. But here's what we can do. So let's do, oh, you know what? Let me go. Here's what I always do. Let's make a backup.
Mhm.
So now we're in the greats backup. Let's go over to rosters. And on team two, I can import a player. Now, the cool thing about the import on an action is you can import and you can go to any season you have. This is what's so great about it. How about we go to my 5-year file and bring in the close? You know what? Let's bring a three. Let's go to my 60s file and bring a 3-year, 3 straight year Sandy Koufax in.
Cool. Cool.
Now I just got to
I'm
remember
sorry.
what's
I know
my.
this wasn't what you think you were planning to
No, it's
do,
a
but
fun.
it might just be fun.
Um, Go to the 60s franchise best. Let's hit LA. And we got Sandy Koufax. Import player one. Yes. Done. Exit. And it's that easy. Now I got Sandy Koufax sitting here. And when we click on him, it's going to tell us, see where he's at. He's in, oh
That
my
ERA.
gosh.
Oh my
Look at this.
God.
And here's what's happened. I've brought it in, and sometimes I'll have to reset everything because sometimes it's bringing in the what am I talking about here? Nickname. His nickname's the left arm of God, so that'll need to be changed. But you can see, look at this, his ERA plus 181. So now, if we go to team one, we're going to look at our batter matchup analysis here. So let's choose team two. Okay. Team one. And we're going to go batting versus Koufax right there.
That's so cool. I love this tool.
He's shutting down people. But look at his line. I mean, all the great pitchers are going to do that too, right?
Oh yeah.
And when we get more, it'll be fun to do this. But I definitely want to build a team, bring it into this league too, just for reference of like some of the better players to kind of start seeing how this thing's stacking up with the best 3 years approach and the numbers and all that stuff. Because what you don't want to happen is, you've got a league built where you've got Babe Ruth hitting 370 and 40 home runs, and then Josh Gibson comes over and he's batting 280 and 22 home runs in a full 54 game season. It's too much of a
Right.
hit, right? So I can tell based on the numbers that I've run so far, the range is the lowest one. The highest one I've seen is probably about a 0.96 of a major league player of their original stats to where, they're only getting a slight hit. And then I've seen one where it's about 86%. And I just have a number that's an eyeball for me. I call it like a reduction, performance reduction. It just kind of lets me know how much moving them out of that to a tougher major league, where they're playing, in that league, how much of a hit they get.
Right. This is gonna be such an
Yeah, so
amazing
I'm looking at a
project.
player here like Judd Wilson I'm working on now. He's a .946. So he's not taking as big a hit. George Carr,
Right.
Tank Carr, was a .862. So Pete Hill, a .892. So that varies, right, depending on the years that are being used and then how the MLEs work out. So anyway, I find this stuff all fascinating and fun. And
It's
again, it's
cool.
like baking a cake, and you can read the directions, but then hey, if I want to throw a little extra sugar in there, I can, right? I mean, there's a little bit of art to that. How am I going to make it taste better
Mhm.
and make sure it's all within reason of what we're trying to do? And I do think for those of you that haven't heard this, I mean, I don't know if anybody listens to the 4 hours that you and I usually get together and talk about this stuff, but mixed in there
Right.
is the goal is that this could be its own league to go have fun with, but I didn't build it for it to sit alone in the Negro leagues, right? So you could figure if
Right.
this file just stayed there, you could bump the numbers up by 8% probably on average, 7 to 8%, the stat lines, right? but I want them to be able to be their own, but also that you could grab them and throw them in with the major league file I'm going to have because that'll be more apples to apples as much as you can have apples to apples with two things that never
Right.
existed together, right? Yeah, I want them to be kind of plug and play where we can do those things, right? Um, and that'll be fun.
Oh, absolutely. This is gonna. I mean, it's already amazing what you've done, and it's not even ready to go, and it's astounding.
Let's bring somebody.
Imagine.
Let's bring somebody that's not so great in to take a look at them on team two, a pitcher. Let's do
Oh,
this. Let's.
pick any pirate pitcher. There
Okay,
you go. We didn't. Well, we're not known for our great pitching. So,
we'll go right here to your NL file. No, Ralph Kiner here.
oh my God. Well, now you're picking a really bad pirate team.
Well, let's do it.
I was thinking about like Doc Ellis or Steve Blass, which were pretty good pitchers, but not Sandy Koufax,
Okay, let's go
which
with Steve Blass and let's bring in Clemente for grins, right?
sure.
Let's do that. Doc Ellis. Let's import those three onto team two. So now team two has those players sitting there. Now let's go over and do the let's do the matchup analysis, right?
You look at those ERAs, you see the difference already with Blass, Ellis, and Koufax. Good God.
So let's take team one, team two, and we're gonna bat. Now this time we're gonna go against Blast, right? And you can see he's a good pitcher, right? I mean, he's got a decent ERA in that. He's dropping down some stuff. Let's take a look at Doc Ellis.
He's not doing it the way Koufax is doing it.
No, not no,
Oof.
none of this, right?
We know that. I mean, we know that, right?
But yeah, let's take Clemente. How does Clemente do? We know he's a 347, right? How does he do against Oscar Charleston? Well, he's going to get a little bump. Charleston's not that great of a pitcher, but how about Martin Dihigo? Okay, now
That's
he's
indeed right.
dropping a little bit. Rube Foster. Boy, that's odd. I'm gonna have to. Oh, you know what it is with these pitchers? Ah, I got it. I know what I've got to do. I've got to check some of my ratings on them. Mendez, Rogan, Toriente. I'm gonna have to go check. I'm gonna have to go check them. You'll have to look at this because you can see typically the ERA plus. I'm not trusting this. I'm not trusting those numbers I just saw. It makes me think I've got to go back and make sure I've got something filled in. But if we look at the pitchers, you'll notice here's a good indication. Having the ERA be above 100 is what you want. You can see Bullet Rogan 150, Mendez 147, even Martin Dihigo's 168. That's pretty really good ERA plus pitching numbers.
Some of these pitchers are going to be able to. You're going to have games where you can have these guys facing off against a Walter Johnson, for instance, or Rube Waddell.
Yeah.
That's what I'm just excited about. But again, as you say, right? I mean, no, that you're not intending this to remain. But what you've done is right. MV and I just had this idea. Now you're creating something that's like going well beyond what we ever thought would even be possible.
Yes. It's
Phew.
and now my mind just stays bogged down in all this stuff because it's like in my brain while I'm running through this, it's always spinning, right? Okay, are the numbers working out right? Is it, you know, is it realistic? Is it capturing everything that we need it to capture? Is it, what's it going to look like when it comes over? How am I going to get them on um, to line up when we start putting in major league players in here for them to face? So
It's gonna be amazing. It's gonna be amazing. Can't wait. Can't
it
wait.
is.
But don't rush. Don't rush, man. I know you're loving this. So there's
Yeah,
no
I'm
hurry.
not
Like
rushing.
like I said, if you have two teams ready in February for Black History Month at some point, just two teams All Star game at the at Comiskey Park. that'll just be fun just to kind of, and it'd be kind of fun to see a little test of it. But as far as this larger project, doing all these teams, um, like I told you, if it's next Christmas, that would be
Oh,
fine.
yes. Yeah, just taking a look at some of the stuff here. But no, hey, this is all I've got going on. So if you're going to fire up APBA, let's get back over there and get your
Yeah.
tutorial
So
going so that I can learn what the heck I'm doing so I can get use out of this money I just spent.
right. So what I'll do is I'm gonna do a baseball for Windows tutorial and then finish out so that way because I know Steve will want to get back
Well,
on
and I did send you, I
board
don't know if you've
this.
checked your email, but I
I
did
have not
send
yet.
you a file that zip that maybe you could check out
Okay, I will definitely
and
look at that.
see if that, you can get some magic to happen with that.
Yep, I will definitely do that. So I'll do a tutorial for you guys, and then so that Steve likes to crunch numbers to Ernie Harwell. I'll just let a
Yes,
game play out too. So we'll go from beginning as if you've just gotten the game, and how to navigate the modules. Okay.
that's going to be great because I know Arnold's new, right? Who else has it coming? MV's waiting.
Arnold's new. MV's waiting for his, and I mean, yeah, guys, I didn't, and so I get Steve's frustration. I didn't have right when I bought it. I mean, the World Wide Web was just starting, man, and I'm like, not that anybody cares. I'm one of the first people to actually ever create World Wide Web pages. When I started doing them for Penn State, there were 100 pages on the World Wide Web. So, there was no thing where I could just go on an APA site and how the hell do I do this? So I was able to figure it
Yes,
out. It took a few hours, but once I got it, but that being said, it's nowhere near as user friendly. I don't, in fact, for the digital baseball games I played, and it's a lot of them, I haven't seen anything more user friendly than Action PC, actually. Even more than Out of the Park 23. I think this is even more user friendly for what you can do. I mean, it's crazy. You can bang up a league in this thing in 10 minutes and you're ready to rock. Just ready to go. So,
yes.
yeah. So if you guys want to do that, I'll do that now.
Cool. We'll see you there.
All right.